Welcome everyone to our VWEC Metaverse Expert Series. We're glad to see you and have you join us today for our very interesting presentation and discussion. So everyone is invited to an extended chat with our speakers at the end of the deck for an informal conversation or Q&A after the presentation. But for those of you who are new, our website is, I put the website into the chat, and you can find VWEC on many social media channels, also here in the chat. We are pleased to offer our expert series in both text and chat. Text for anyone who might not be using voice is shared on our YouTube live stream. Okay, we also have a survey plant here at the front, and this has a quick survey that is a great help for us. If you could fill it out and send it along with any comments that you might have. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. On our panel, we'll be discussing what happens when students don't just learn, but build their learning. We will step inside the VWEC Student Challenge and hear directly from those who created, experiment, and built what immersive learning really means. In Res, Reflect, Repeat, Learning Through Virtual Creation, instructors and students from the VWEC Student Challenge share their firsthand experiences designing and building in Second Life. We will be exploring how immersive creation transforms learning, highlighting collaboration, problem solving, and the unexpected insights that emerge when ideas take shape in virtual space. So I am going to begin by briefly talking about the Student Challenge, and then I'll invite our instructors, students, and judges to introduce themselves and share their experiences. Finally, we'll wrap up and continue the conversation afterwards. So the SL Student Challenge just completed its 4th annual event a couple of weeks ago. The challenge began in fall of 2023 and moved to a spring annual event the following year. Programming challenges, often called hackathons, are a popular way to create innovative content quickly. These events are typically hosted by universities or technology companies like Google or Meta and often run 36 to 48 continuous hours. The end result is usually a prototype that can be later developed further. In 2023, I proposed that Linden Labs sponsor a challenge with a different structure. Instead of a 36-hour sprint, ours would run over a full academic term, about 8 to 10 weeks. This extended format allows students who are new to Second Life time to learn the interface, the building tools, and scripting before fully developing their projects. As far as we know, this was the first time a technology company sponsored a challenge of this length. The challenge centers around educational institutions that maintain a presence in Second Life. Each participating team is given a 32 by 32 by 32 parcel on a shared region to build an educational experience. Instructors integrate the challenge into their curriculum. At the end of the term, students present their projects at an in-world event, and qualified judges evaluate each build using a preset rubric. The judging criteria include authenticity and accuracy of content, clear citation of sources and defined target audience, accessibility and aesthetic appeal, overall presentation, interaction and immersion, and so each judge will score each category from 0 to 5. We also established clear rules aligned with Linden Labs G-rated standards. These include appropriate dress, respectful communication, no copyright infringement, no commercial displays, no donation requests, no hate-oriented content, and no destruction or interference with other exhibits. All builds must stay within the assigned parcel boundaries. Security and student safety are a top priority, and VWEC works closely with Linden Lab to make sure that protections for high school student participants are followed. To support students during the challenge, Builders Brewery offered both a beginner and intermediate building class, along with a tour of the Happy Hippo Learning Sim. Gentle Heron from Virtual Ability provided guidance on incorporating accessibility into Second Life projects. And of course, this aligns directly with one of our major judging criteria. At the conclusion of the challenge, we held an awards ceremony based on judges' feedback. Awards included premium memberships and Linden Dollar prizes for first, second, and third places, along with special awards for most authentic, most interactive, and best presentation. If you would like to see the awards ceremonies and the machinable walkthroughs of the exhibits, they are available on YouTube on the VWEC Student Challenge playlist, which I'm putting into the chat. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to our instructors, beginning with John O'Connor.
Thanks, Marie. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming along. I'm delighted to be here. So my name is John O'Connor, known sometimes here in Second Life as a cup of tea. I am an emeritus fellow with TU Dublin, from which I retired recently. And that role allows me to continue my teaching and my research activity with access to journals and the library and so on. I'm also an emeritus with the European University of Technology, which is the project I led while I was in TU Dublin. It's a collection of 9 universities across Europe, which are working on coming together to form a European university. And I'm also a member of the VR lab at CHA University in Turkey with my colleague here, Magua and Marino. So Magua and I have been teaching, co-teaching here in Second Life for a long number of years now. And we deliver a module every semester, so it runs for a full semester. We're normally bringing new students in here to Second Life. And from the beginning, we've had a practical orientation to what we do. So we've always set our students a semester-long project, which is introduced at the beginning of the semester and requires the students to build some kind of a presentation form. Usually we've based this around the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So we were delighted when Marie proposed the idea of the Student Challenge, because it just brought the project that we were already kind of involved in up to a new level. I think it's, as Marie said, it's very important that this is structured and organized coherently and along the lines of what one expects in a university. So the support from VWEC, from Linden Lab, and from Marie, who is a university professor and understands the requirements, is really important for setting out the structure, which enables us to comfortably and confidently become involved in the project. I think what is kind of unique, perhaps, about what we do is that our student groups that take part in the competition are made up from the 3 universities that work together. So I also now work with Leah Pop and with Andrea from the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca in Romania. And so the student groups that we involve with the Student Challenge are made up from students of each of the 3 universities. So not only are the students getting an experience of learning how to build and learning how to behave in a digital environment, but they're also learning invaluable lessons in terms of working together across cultural differences, across time zone differences, across language differences. So there's a huge amount of learning going on for our students who are involved in this Student Challenge. So it really is a huge challenge for them. The fact that they come into Second Life, usually at the beginning of this, with no prior experience, was, I suppose, a bit of a concern for us at the beginning. But what we found is that the students learn to build really, really quickly. They learn as much from each other as they do from us. but I have to say we've got some really good instructors on our team who really do help to support each of the student teams. The way we do it is that each of us takes a mentorship role with one team. So each team has a specific mentor from one of us that looks after them throughout the course of the 10 or 12 weeks that the student challenge goes on. I'm going to share with you a link to one of the websites that we produce, which documents the student experience through the course of that. And the most recent post to it includes a summary of the feedback we got from students, which is really interesting to have a read of. So that's an open website. Anybody can have a look at that at any stage. And you can see the work that the students have produced. You can see videos of their bills, but you can also interact with the summary of the student response. And I think that's what's particularly interesting, is how positively the students responded to the experience. I don't want to say too much because I know other people have things to add to that. So I'm going to leave it at that for the moment and hand back to Marie. But there's plenty more we can discuss, which might come out best through a Q&A rather than me just going on and on at length and assuming I know what it is you want to hear about. So I'll hand back to you now, Marie.
Thank you, John. So then next we would like to hear from Magwa.
Thank you, Marie. My name is Magwa Teriak in Second Life, Murat Günez in real life, and I'm an associate professor of marketing, and also I have been dealing with teaching innovation and technology enhanced teaching in higher education for many years by now. And as John mentioned, that we have been co-teaching here for many years as well. We met, actually, I read an article that John wrote many years back, and then I found him in Second Life. Then we started to talk, and we see each other's course and design here, and then we decided to go to a joint course here for many years ago. And then now we have been adding up to this course. We are creating something each year. It's improving in a way. The students or as now instructors sitting next to us right now, Andrea and Marino, were our former students. So now they are helping us to instruct the course, and they know this experience by heart since they have been in both roles, student and instructor in the same course. So it helps a lot. So we have a team. The team is growing up, which is helping us a lot, and we are also expanding in a way to become more international, as John mentioned. We started as Turkish and Irish universities at first. Now we have a Romanian partner in the mix. We even have some connections through EUT Plus with a Bulgarian university right now, and maybe other universities as well from different countries. We even have different students from different universities and cultures as well in the coming years or semesters. Who knows? One thing is, of course, challenging that we need to design the course and we need to integrate the student challenge into the course. All these timelines, all those calendars has to match, and that is a challenge, honestly. But we managed to cope with that so far. I think so far so good. We're doing well on that, in my opinion. And additionally, the more universities or the cultures we are adding, it's getting more complex. So managing it is sometimes it's hard with the time zones or the because of the scheduling of the courses in each university. We need to mesh that up as well. So it's getting complex in that sense. But we are there, like we are managing it, we are coping with that, and we try to be flexible. We try to do the best to align all those, universities, students, and the instructors. The student challenge itself is a very good addition to our course. It has when the VWEC started to do this, and when they mentioned that to us, John and I decided that we were doing already a project in our course, so why not integrating student challenge as our project, the final project for our course. So that's what we did for many years. We're delivering this course on fall and spring, 2 times a year, with John. But then what we do is right now the student challenge is only on spring. So on fall, we are doing our own project. On spring term, we are integrating the student challenge to our course. And as John mentioned, we did a feedback session. Actually, we did that for many years. At the end of each course, we are calling all the students to meet one last time with us in Second Life again. And we usually sit on the grass or, in a natural environment on our campus. We make an informal session that we collect the feedback from the students. We ask them questions, they answers, and they make comments. And the last years, the last time that we did the student challenge, after that we did the session, and mostly what I heard was really positive comments about this course, the learning experience, and so on. I don't know if they were so polite, the students, and they didn't want to criticize the experience at all, or it was really, really a very successful learning experience. But in that sense, I would return back to Marie to give the mic to Andrea and Merino, since they have been in both roles, student and the instructor. I think they would answer this question or make comments on this in a better way than I would do. Thank you.
Thanks, Magwa. Yeah, so I was going to suggest that since Andrea and Chala have both been in both roles, it would be great to hear about both roles. So, Andrea, we can start with you.
Yes, thank you very much. As John and Magua already said, my name is Andrea, in real life Andrea Pașca. I'm actually a senior year at Technical University from Cluj-Napoca. Leah Pop is my professor and also my advisor for my bachelor thesis. So last year I was introduced to the platform and I participated in a challenge as a student. And this year Magwa and Leah offer me the opportunity to mentor one of the team in this type of challenge. And since I don't have any teaching experience yet, the experience I've gained here, it will help me in my future career. And the experience here was amazing because although we were divided into teams, the atmosphere and the way we worked together didn't feel like a competition, but more like a collaboration. So John, Magua, Merino had their own teams. Every time I had a question, they answer me equally. And I have to say that I'm very grateful for this opportunity and that I've met them in real person, and here it was a very great experience as a student and also as a mentor. Thank you very much. I will give the microphone to Marie and then to Chala. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Andrea. That's great to hear. So let's turn the mic over to Chala, and you can talk about your experience.
Oh, hello everyone. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. My name is Chala and my avatar name is Merino. I was first introduced to Second Life in the Virtual Worlds course 3 years ago. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I feel like I'm almost living here. Second Life has given me many opportunities, such as building international collaborations and finding a job in a field that I really enjoyed. 2 years ago, I joined this event as a student, and now being here as a student mentor is really special for me. And also now I working as a VR lab assistant at Chai University. My role in Student Challenge was helping students with 3D modeling and recording their presentations. I prepare short videos for students about how they can do 3D modeling and share it with them. These videos are really helpful for students. Uh, Also, I can share my YouTube account with you. Maybe you can follow me. Yes. I really enjoy doing this. Yes, I've taken this course maybe 4 or 5 times, but every year I still learn something new. This is no limit to learning something for me. From my side, I followed our students' communications in the WhatsApp groups. They had really great teamwork and communication. Everyone come from different backgrounds and cultures. And thanks to these differences, they created very innovative and creative projects. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chala. Now, our next speaker has participated in the challenge. I believe it was the first or the second time it was offered. Shannon, maybe you could go ahead and talk about your experiences.
Sure. Name is Shannon Broden in real life. Avatar is Kriya Shannon. Marie, it was the very first one, fall of 2023. That was the year that we were experimenting if teams or individuals could be groups, and I was one of the ones that was an individual team, which we do no longer do. At that time, I was a student in the Master of Library and Information Science program at San Jose State University, and my emphasis was emerging technology. So I had an additional challenge in that I didn't have a team to work with, which meant I had to take additional onus for figuring out what to do. And I did not come in knowing how to do anything. So in terms of all the additional workshops that were provided, they were fantastic, from the stuff Builders Brewery did to what Gentle Heron did. But I had to go the extra mile and find additional classes. I went to the Happy Hippo Building School on my own initiative, additional Builders Brewery classes, because I wanted to learn. And I really did enjoy getting to do that. So the extra training opportunities for me helped in a great way. What I would do differently, I think I would have loved a team. But that's not something we would have known until we tried it. Somebody had to be brave and try it a different way to see what worked best. And the reality is, for one person to get something completely done by the deadline is a lot. I got something I was relatively happy with, but there's always that knowing, what could I have done if? So I am still happy to have done it, happy enough that I became a judge for the Student Challenge for the last 2 years. I am the first student who has moved on to a judging position. As far as learning within the metaverse as a model versus doing a traditional course, for me, this was set up. I was getting a grade as part of an independent study. I liked that it gave me so much to explore and try new things that I would not have gotten to do in our normal classroom model. And I say that with the program I was in being 100% remote to begin with. We did stuff on Zoom a lot. We did stuff on that kind of set up a lot for group projects. But solo or group, I don't think it would have mattered. Getting to manipulate and build and express content in a different way than writing a paper, I really, really liked that. Marie, I hope that answered your question.
Oh, I didn't realize you were done. Okay, so then I guess the last group that we would like to hear from are judges. I know Val was not a judge, but she was the director of judges. So I'm going to let her talk about the judging aspect of the Second Life Challenge.
Hopefully you can hear me. I didn't test my sound. I was just asked for this today, and I'm excited to share it with you because my role in this project as one of the organizers helping Marie was to create the rubric of criteria elements and match those to this unique opportunity to build in a virtual world. And so that took some thought, and then the judges had to really take some thought to assess the student work. So initially, we had to kind of think about what's the criteria that you would need to build something in the metaverse? Because you might notice on the VWEC website, we have a page for the Student Challenge, and the tagline is serious learning in the metaverse. It's not just a pretty build, it's serious learning. The students must be able to demonstrate that they have learned something. So the first criteria, and Ree mentioned these, the first criteria the judges, each judge is given only one criteria. And they go and look at all of the builds thinking about this one criteria. And the first one is authenticity and accuracy. You know, there's some beautiful simulations in the metaverse, but many of them are fantasy, you know, all kinds of anything you can imagine. What we're looking for is something that's authentic, be it historical or scientific, and that it's accurate. So we had one judge that addressed that. Then we have a judge who addresses citing sources. We do not require any particular format like APA or MLA, but what we're looking for here is the students tell us where they got their information, and that is really important. We also realize with AI expanding rapidly around all of us that students are going to probably look at that. And we do want them to clearly state if AI was used and what the purpose of using AI was in their build. So that's the first two. Then the third judge looks at accessibility. And I believe Marie might have mentioned, we have Gentle Heron, who's from Virtual Ability Island, come and talk with the students and share why accessibility is important in virtual worlds for people who have disabilities, such as hearing loss or low vision, and how they can help with those things. And Builders Brewery also, and Happy Hippo, all help with guidelines for building and helping with accessibility, and we offer those resources. So that's the third criteria that judges look for. Then we have interaction, because a beautiful build is one thing, but you should be able to do something, not just look, not just passively look at a build, but actively participate in the build. That's the beauty of the metaverse and 3D. you can do something. This is a place, not a disposable app. And so students take advantage of that interaction. Then the final criteria element, we have a judge who looks at their presentation. Each team is required to create a video and share that, where they talk about what it is they built and why, and then all of these scores are all evaluated together to score our final prizes. I'd like to say that we continue to evaluate each year that we do this, the best ways to score these criteria, make changes and tweak it, because it's kind of a new field to be able to build a serious learning opportunity in the metaverse. I think it's great for me today to hear the perspectives of these instructors who participated, students who participated, as well as judges, because it helps us realize how all of this fits together. So I'll turn it back over to Marie to see if we have any questions about anything we've talked about.
Thank you, Val. No, that was a great, because I didn't want to say exactly what each of the criteria was, so that you could explain it better, because you're the best at that. Yeah, I guess at this point we would like to take questions from the audience about, for the judging, for the instructors, for the students. Just, you can type it or you can use voice. Maybe I'll start. I'll start out with a question for the instructors. Did we, since we had all those extra trainings, the Builders Brewery, we're wondering if you felt like your students got a lot out of those trainings. And I know that I heard from you guys that you thought that the thing that we added this year, which was the Happy Hippo tour, was something that people didn't know about it, but we're really glad to find. So I don't know, anybody can jump in with the answer to that question.
I can say a couple of things about that. Like Happy Hippo was mentioned by the students on our feedback session, that they liked that session particularly. A couple of students mentioned that, and I didn't know them as well. Like, even though I have been around in Second Life for many years, maybe I was not looking carefully around in those years. But then I think it's a very rich sim that's full of resources that could be useful. So I really like that session as well myself. The one thing effective thing that negatively affect the students is that some of those sessions were on Saturday, and it was really hard to gather all those students to attend all the sessions. That is the only critique that we have been hearing from the students. But I know that it's very hard. I mentioned that it's very hard to align all those people's schedules, and we are all busy during the week as well. Not many people can come. The time zones, there are many issues. So that's the best we could do so far.
I think the introduction sessions from Builders Brewery were really good at just establishing the basic principles of building for students. They were really excited to see Happy Hippo and all the resources that were available there. But I'd also want to mention Marino's range of videos. So Marino has developed a set of videos for the students also, teaching them how to build specific things, which finding that useful and helpful. So the takeaway for me is that it's important that the students have many different kinds of opportunities to learn from. And then as they put all that together and begin to practice and implement what they've learned, they find the building skills kind of begin to naturally emerge. In terms of the time scale, it's important. For instance, we were hoping to have some of our students this year here, but to let you know, it's 9 p.m. on a Friday evening in Dublin, so my students couldn't come. They have other things to do, but it's 11 p.m. in both Turkey and Romania at this stage, so it's really not possible to get students to come out at that late night to do stuff. So just interesting perspectives on the difficulties of working across time zones. Thanks, Marie.
So we do have a question in the chat from Max for the students, and so the people that can, so not just Shannon, but Marino and Andrea, you could answer this question as well. What part of the project, of your project, did you find most difficult?
I'll start because I can immediately know what mine was, and it's the reason I went to the other classes, is I had no sense of how texturing worked. And I can only imagine it would be more difficult now dealing with PBR. And it's like the basic classes, we were pre-provided textures or whatever, but I needed certain colors. And I didn't know, how did I do that? How do I go find textures in the wild? And there was an entire class at Happy Hippo on that, and that is how I learned it. So once I got that down, I could make stuff fit in with other stuff that I was acquiring pre-purchased, but that was my barrier back then.
Andrea, did you have anything to add?
Yes. So the main challenges was some technical issues when we crash, like Marino did right now. The time difference, like John and Magua mentioned, here and then the language, because not all the students are very confident that they can express themselves in English, and some of the leaders of of the teams have faced some challenges of managing different personality types, like some team members needed clear step-by-step instructions, while others needed more creative freedom. But I think that's it. Marie, you have.
Can
Yeah,
you hear?
yes. Go ahead, Marino.
Oh, sorry. Some students had no experience with 3D design, so it was challenging to guide them step by step. Is difficult, actually.
Marino is always very patient with the students.
Yeah, oh, thank you. We have another question about student learning. So I think this is for all the instructors. Very interested, but love to hear some tips for connecting the challenge to your actual curriculum that you're implementing using the student challenge.
I might just start on that. So we, as we've said earlier, have always had a student project at the core of our module. So we used the student challenge as the basis for our brief, but then we added to that as we presented to the students. So we effectively rewrote the student challenge brief to present to the students for the assessment of their module, so the assessment of their learning, which we carried out. So we basically said, you're doing two things here. You're presenting work for the student challenge, for which you might get an award, but separately, here are the criteria on which we're going to be assessing it, which are the criteria for assessment attached to the module. And so we made sure that we built those criteria into the refocusing of the brief, if you like. And some of the things we've included in that are teamwork. So teamwork is kind of at the core of the module. And as Andrea and Marino mentioned, each of our teams has a team leader and a team co-leader or communications person. But we also talk to them about the different roles in teamwork. So they've got to be able to understand that and how those roles flow, and people move from one role to another depending on both the stage of development the team is at and the project is at, and their particular skills and abilities. And then we also talk about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we build that into the brief as well. And so it's quite clear to the students that the project has two functions, if you like, for them. As I said, it's the student challenge, which is an exciting opportunity, and there's fun around that in terms of the awards ceremony and all the rest of that, and the excitement of winning awards. And then there's a separate piece, which is how they're assessed by us for their academic results at the end of the semester. Thanks.
I might add a couple of things to that, what John said. And there are certain things that we integrated on the way, like, because once we started, we didn't have all those aspects, like we were just doing the project. Then Student Challenge added to that. Then we came up with the idea of the digital badges. And actually, what we do right now is, like, the students complete the project. Once they complete the project, they get the certificates, which are signed by VWEC members, right? So that is a good thing. They earn a certificate, and that is very tangible. And we're going to make a ceremony at CHA. Even the rector is going to be present in that ceremony to hand out those certificates and celebrate the awards that the students win in this challenge. So those things are very motivating for the students. That I can see that. And the other thing is, they also earn digital badges because, I mean, whoever comes register for this course and successfully complete it, they get to earn the digital badges. And those digital badges are, you can see that on both web pages. This is our, like, the first one is the one that I shared is the TU Dublin's John O'Connor's university, and those badges are designed by TU Dublin and CHA, but it's presented by TU Dublin on their webpage. So each year, whoever take these courses, we give the list to the TU Dublin office that manages the badges, and they are listed on their website. So that they're also earning those badges that they could add it up to their CVs or whatever the cover letters that when they apply for the job. And those are there are 3 badges associated with this challenge and the course that all of them are going to earn this year as well, like last year. We started that last year, but that now this is again we're doing it. So those are the additional things that we integrate all together, making it more motivating for the students, we believe. Thank you.
Wow, that's really great. Should take some notes to get some to convince our administrators to do the same thing, right? That's a great idea. Okay, I didn't see any other questions in the chat. Do we have any other questions for our panelists? Well, go ahead.
Until someone will ask us something, may I add something that John and Magua said? Yes, besides the fact that Magua and John offer us a digital badge for all the students, including Romanian students, our students were very happy. I don't know how to put this. They're very excited for this type of active learning. Um, they move through space. They observe different areas. Instead of just reading about a concept, the 3D building creates the environment where a message can be seen, experienced, and understood visually. And this type of course, our students were very excited to attend. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. We did get another question. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Like I just as an instructor myself, I see the engagement is so much higher than it is than from students sitting in and listening on a Zoom in a Zoom classroom. um, so um, so Ellie wanted to know if the students feel like they learned more than they might have in a traditional class, and just jump in.
That's a really interesting question, and it does feature in the student feedback. I'm not sure that I would say that the students felt they learned more than a traditional class, but some of the comments they made were interesting. So they found, for instance, that there's less hierarchy in Second Life. There's more a feeling that there's less difference between students and staff when we're working in Second Life, and you can kind of guess at why that might be. And part of it perhaps is that all our avatars kind of look the same age. Um, there's sort of just instinctively less hierarchy in a virtual world like Second Life. But we work hard, I think, also all of us as instructors to not develop a hierarchy, but it's all first name terms, for instance, and it helps, of course, that they are all avatar names. But I thought that was quite interesting, and the students liked that. It meant that they were less intimidated, perhaps. And that's another point they made. Many of them said where they sometimes feel it more difficult to speak up in a real classroom, natural world classroom, they found it a bit easier in a virtual world. However, they also did say that they do get a little bit anxious prior to making their presentation in the virtual world. So it's not as if it's very easy, but it's a bit easier. And you can read a lot more about what they say in the link I gave earlier in terms of the feedback from the students. But those are two of the key points that I think are particularly interesting.
I did something today also that might be related to this what Ellie was asking, and I have another course which all of us like the well, John and I has been teaching. It's a course about AI, and first time we're delivering that one this term, and it's only the Turkish students that my students are the students there registered, and we just started this, and then first time today I called those students to the lab physically. So first time I have, I'm getting to know their faces, and I get to meet them in person. It was today, and when they come to the lab, we started to talk, and we made jokes, and I also tried to make them understand that what we are trying to do with that AI course in reality, and why are we delivering in VR and so on. But then the one comment was, Chala actually mentioned as a joke that maybe we should do the final presentation face to face instead of in Second Life. They protested. They wanted to do it in Second Life, and we also heard with John when we finished the student challenge and in the feedback session, some of the students mentioned that, John, if you remember, they said it was easier to make the presentations in Second Life than in real life. So maybe that is also a psychological effect that in face to face or in front of their their classmates or in anybody, face-to-face, it's harder to make presentations. So it might be also a good way to warm up for the presentations in real life, to start with Second Life presentations. I don't know, this, to be in an avatar form might really help some people who has a problem with the public speaking or any other communication barriers that they have. So that's another thing that I noticed.
To be honest, I also feel more comfortable speaking in virtual worlds.
And I would agree with you all on that.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to add, actually tying into that, because one of the things that Virtual World's best practices in education started encouraging groups to do if they wanted was to then share posters and machinima about our student challenge experiences for that. And that ultimately became my jumping point for building full exhibits there, which I started out learning to do through the challenge, and ultimately speaking there. So there, for me, there's a direct correlation like that of speaking in virtual worlds that starts with the challenge.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. Okay, well, we're getting close to time here. I did want to thank our panelists, especially those who are already in Saturday now, for showing up and sharing your wisdom with us, because it really does make a difference for those of us who are trying to improve the challenge every year. And one of the things that we have noticed is that as the years go on, every year the exhibits get better and better and better. And so, we really appreciate that you come and talk to us and give us feedback, and also to let the greater community, educational community here know about it as well, if they haven't had a chance to experience it. So I do encourage people to go look at Fran made a very nice video of the exhibits on YouTube, and the YouTube channel for the second Life Student Challenge. I encourage you to go take a look at that to see just how great these exhibits end up being if you haven't seen them yet. And with that, I want to thank everybody for coming. And that you should be able to find the recording of today's session here in at the YouTube link I put in the chat. And if you'd like, we're pleased to invite you to show off your community at our community fair, which is coming up. We will have a few events over the summer, including our kickoff event on May 30th, I believe it is, at 11 a.m. And you can add your display to share what you guys are doing along with other communities that support education in virtual worlds. The VWEC Community Fair is going to go from it's not May 16th. Is it May 16th through August 15th? It's going all summer. And we do have a registration. So if you are interested in applying for a booth there, I'm putting that in the chat. And as part of this effort for the community, we're going to kick it off with our next expert series, which will feature several well-known community leaders will give us some insight into their communities here in Second Life. That's going to be May 22nd at 1 p.m. Second Life time. And please note that we welcome any new volunteers to help VWEC, which is open to anyone interested in teaching and learning in virtual environments. To see all of the events that are going on here on the plaza, you can check out this link, and then also I'm just going to put a whole bunch of other links in the chat for more information on VWEC. And we're also in Discord on the Second Life server using the Pound Education channel. And again, I want to thank the panelists for a wonderful recap of the student challenge, and hopefully we'll see you all next year, because I believe that we will keep this going. Big round of applause. And we can now get up and go to the plaza if I know some of our panelists might actually want to want to go to bed, but for whoever can stay, we're going to go to the plaza and continue our conversation.